Bay Live, celebrating 2 years in business. Welcome to Palm Bay Live, celebrating 2 years in business. Good evening, Palm Bay, and welcome to Palm Bay Live early start. Tonight, we're going to be having our debates, our candidate debates for seat 4, starting at 8 o'clock. But tonight, I wanted to introduce you to Miss Isabella Wright, and Mistress Isabella Wright is from the Florida Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, and she's here to tell us more about her chamber and its activities and what they do. So this is the early start. I'm going to be introducing her chamber to you tonight. And so she's going to be telling us more about this organization that she started and what it does.
Hi, Kevin. How are you? Thank
Great.
you for having me. Well, we started the Florida Hispanic Chamber of Commerce in April, and we have been making strides. I was with the previous chamber for almost 17 years, and we've moved on and started our own chamber. We are a different kind of chamber. We are trying to empower small minority businesses. We are here to complement the other chambers that don't have that kind of inclusion. We are planning a lot of events for next year. We are crawling right now. We are starting to walk and run for next year. But we have accomplished a lot of things in the city of Palm Bay recently. So we are very proud of the inclusion that we have received. We have the Business Expo coming next year. We have a couple of events that are still in the planning stages that we are working on. We are trying to get the city of Palm Bay to rename Fred Poppe Park. That originally was supposed to be a minority-based park. It was supposed to be called Heritage Park. And that's why we have all those different areas in the park named after minorities. We have the Roberto Clemente Field, and we are striving to name that park after our police officer, Frank Tobar. So that's one of the things that we are striving for next year. We are also trying to get the city of Palm Bay to restart the PAL program and to work closer with the police department to try to get the Coffee with Cops back into place. We brought that into Brevard County 7 years ago. And I think it's very important for us to, as minorities, to be able to have that kind of relationship with the police department. As a business, we need to make sure that our minorities are empowered to feel that they have that comfort level to work with the city on different levels. We are trying to start the business after hours coming up starting in January. We are happy that we are being considered to bring a tournament that is not going to be named yet into Brevard County, specifically Palm Bay. So if that happens, we are very happy. We want to bring big business, but our focus right now is really to promote minority small business. You know, the mom and pop stores, people that have crafts and stuff like that, that are not accounted for and are not taken into consideration when plans are made. We want to work with the cities to make sure that home-based business have an easier path to getting licensing and getting permits to be able to run out of the business out of their home. Right now, it's a kind of a difficult task. So our chamber is trying to work on many levels, many things. And hopefully the experience that I bring to the table would be a positive one in order to break that path for our minority-based businesses. We are trying to start financial classes in partnership with the school system so our kids can learn how to manage credit cards, bills, how to think about becoming entrepreneurs while still in high school, junior high, giving them that idea. When my daughter was in 3rd grade, I remember I bought her a little package of earrings and I told her, take it to school and try to sell it. Gives them that idea that they can become entrepreneurs at any age, really. And we're seeing nowadays that kids become entrepreneurs younger with the support of their family. So we are trying to promote that and teaching the kids that, that is available to them. So partnering up with the school board, that's a major plus in order to get that moving and making it grow. We're trying to get Hispanics more involved because, business and politics have to run together, unfortunately. So we want to get them involved into civic duty. So that's what our chamber is trying to promote.
Okay, awesome, awesome. And thank you for coming on and talking about your organization and what it does. So when did this organization form?
Oh my goodness. We started in April, but I was with the Puerto Rican Chamber of Commerce for 15 years. I was president on and off for 7 years. So that's where we're at. The experience that I bring to the table, the contacts that I made over the years, that's what's going to help our chamber flourish and move on.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. And be sure to come back at any point in time. You can reach out to me and any organizations that is out there that want to use this platform to promote your entity, to get the word about your activities. Let me know. Send me an email, kevin@palmbaylive.com, kevin@palmbaylive.com, and let me know, hey, Kevin, I want to come on. I want to talk about my entity. I want to talk about my event, my upcoming event, and I want to get the word out. Please utilize this platform just for that. We can basically get the word out. It's not just Palm Bay Live is not just about the political season. And I mean, the reason why I created this was for it to be a community show. So individuals can use the platform for things like this. Small businesses can utilize the platform to talk about their new entity that they just formed and that they want to invite customers in, etc. So that is the reason why I started this platform 2 years ago. So it was not just about the political season as it seems right now, but it was more along the line to also get that out. So please ensure that if you are make sure you get your get involved in the community. If you're getting involved in the community, please reach out to me and say, listen, Kevin, I want to utilize the platform to get the word out. There's going to be another upcoming show, but there's not going to be another person that's going to be joining Palm Bay Live soon. That's still in the works, and that's going to be doing her show on Sundays. And so that also can be utilized as well to get your word out about your upcoming events.
I do want to say one thing before we log off. We have an event coming in January. The Space Coast Indian Association is putting on their event. That's a kite flying event. And I hope that you guys can come on and support. Malabar Discount Pharmacy is sponsoring it. And it's a huge event for the Indian community. So I hope that the city of Palm Bay comes out and embraces it and welcomes them to do this event here every year.
Okay, awesome. So again, Isabel, reach out to me. You know how to reach out to me now.
Yes, so, thank you so much, Kevin, for your time.
Yes, no problem. Thank you so much.
All right.
Coming up next, folks, we have another entity that is in the studio with me as well. And they are from the Black Chamber of Commerce. Mr. Marcus Smith, if you are online, we are ready to bring you on, sir. I see. I'm going to add you to the studio. How are you doing, sir?
Hey, good evening. Good evening, Kevin. How are you doing?
Good. Let me put the appropriate banner up. And you are with the Black Chamber of Commerce, correct?
Yes, I am.
Okay, great. I was hoping to see the other person here tonight too as well, but I guess she is running late or probably behind. But go ahead. Please tell us about your chamber and what it is that you do.
Well, I just found out. I think the president, she was coming on at 7:30. So I just received.
Oh, so she's running late. Okay, yeah. So let's talk until she gets here. Let's see what you can tell us until she gets here. And tell me a little about the organization, how we got started.
Well, I definitely want to make sure that when Victoria Jones comes on the line, because she is the founder, president, and CEO of the Space Coast Black Chamber, so she's going to definitely have a lot more of the history and a lot more of the big picture impact that we're having. But let me tell you a little bit about myself and the role that I currently playing with the chamber. Vicky brought me on probably about 2 or 3 months ago to be the director of workforce development with the Space Coast Black Chamber of Commerce. And like I said, it's had an existence of 2 years. We just had an excellent Black Lunch and Black Excellence Awards over at the was it the Crown Plaza, and that was an outstanding event and a great way of introducing our organization to the community. So my role primarily as the Director of Workforce Development, we're running a technology certification program. And with that technology certification program, we are producing tech scholars. And the real premise behind all of that is we want to introduce people to the tech industry, in particular right here, right home where we are in the Space Coast, because there's a lot of technology companies here and they need employees. And we know that our citizens and people from our underserved communities, that they need jobs. And we want to try to offer them careers. And the technology industry is just a great way to help them get their foot in the door. Right now, currently, we have about 5 students going through 2 different cohorts. One is going through Microsoft 365 Dynamics, which is the Microsoft version of CRM, comparable to Salesforce and some of the other enterprise softwares that's out there. And the other students are going through a cohort, and what they're learning is a software called ServiceNow. And these are both 2 well-known enterprise softwares that when companies are looking for individuals to have the aptitude to do software application development, because it's not really software development, but what you really learn is you learn how to code and how to become very comfortable with application development. Because if you're a company and you're looking for customizations on the software that's going to help your enterprise to be profitable, you're going to be looking for these types of certified employees. But it's not just about the certification, though, Kevin, because it's very important because we're also offering them wraparound services, because we want to make sure that individuals are prepared for taking the next steps in the industry and also in their lives and in their careers. So they're going to receive professional development, things like time management, project management. They're also going to receive wraparound services such as financial literacy. I just heard the last young lady talk about that financial literacy, which is very, very important, because now if you're going to get an increase in your annual income, we want to make sure that you're prepared for that increase, and we don't want anyone to squander whatever that pay raise that they may receive will be. We want them to be sure to not only invest in themselves, invest in their household, but also, be able to properly position themselves so that they could be a part of the overall upliftment of the community. So that's my role, one of my primary role right now as the Director of Workforce Development. But slowly, as we start to perfect this pipeline, this continuum technology program, as we get more employee sponsors, that's what we're really looking for right now. Because as you know, programming like this, there's a cost. Even though the cost to the students, we offer it free to the students, but we want to try to get employer sponsors so that we can get more scholarships, and that way we can offer more educational slots to students throughout Brevard County. So, I'm excited to be a part of the Space Coast Black Chamber. I'm excited to be part of a workforce development program that has been in the making now for the last year and a half. And in this last year and a half, we've run 2 cohorts that have been completed, and we have 1 cohort going now. So that's a total of 3 cohorts. And what we've basically proven is that there is a need for this type of certification programming. Because a lot of times, if you're a working professional, you maybe had a couple years of college, maybe you've already graduated college, but then you got into a career, you got into the type of job, but you're like, man, I really wish I was doing something technology related, or I really wish I was doing something that will offer me opportunities of growth and expansion, right? And so we created this pipeline program because we want to help those, you're out of high school, maybe you have a few years of college, like I said before, or you've graduated college, but you want to recertify, you want to skill up, or you just have an interest in being in a technology program. You've heard about some of these high-paying jobs, and you want to get your foot in the door. And we, in our Space Coast Black Chamber of Commerce, we want to be a part of providing those types of solutions to our communities and to the individuals that are looking for these types of opportunities. So thank you.
Okay, sir, that was, you gave us a lot, but I'm going to have to take a pause in the show in order to wait for either a president to come in. So it's 7:16, folks. We did start out early. I was hoping to go a little longer with Miss Isabella Wright, but yeah, her information was precise and concise. So we basically are going to take a pause in the show and come back at 7:30 to finish up this second portion of the interview with the Black Chamber of Commerce. So this is a commercial break.
Commercial break, 15 minutes now. We can talk. I mean, I got a number of different things we can talk about, but we can also take a break. But I'll be here. I'll be back.
What else can you tell me, sir?
Well, let me ask you a few questions. I know this is your show, and let's just kind of go back and forth because first off, I want to give a shout out to David Jones. He's heavily involved in the community, and he told us about the Palm Bay Live, and I've seen some of the work that you've done, Kevin. So I heard you talk with Isabel Wright about Palm Bay Live. So tell me a little bit. How long have you been doing this, and then we'll pick up a little bit.
Yeah, so I started this in 2020 when the pandemic hit. I noticed right away that we had an issue with the individuals that are running for office that were probably not going to be able to meet with their constituents, or I said, you know what, we got to bridge that gap. I have to find a way to bridge that, and so that's how Palm Bay Live came about. And so I choose the name Palm Bay Live because of Palm Bay being one of the biggest cities in Brevard. I figured that would be, give it more traction. And so it wasn't primarily for the city of Palm Bay, but a lot of folks saw it that way. And I didn't shine them away. I didn't change their thought. I just left it alone and say, okay, whatever. And along comes the invitations that got sent out to different politicians and say, listen, I want you to be a part of this movement that I have going. And they didn't say no. They just came. Everyone came through. They graced the platform. We did our interviews through 2020 season. It was the hottest, thing. I mean, when we just started, because people were stuck at home and can't go out. So, so yeah, it just took off from there. And thanks to some individuals in the background that helped pushed it along, that saw what I was doing. Yeah, so that's where it is.
Yeah, no, so congratulations. I'm also run a group on Facebook called the Space Coast Professionals Group. So I've seen you share and post several things in the group. So I'm glad to finally meet you and to learn a little bit more about what you're doing, because it's very important that there is a voice and that there is an avenue for people to come on and share and just have conversation. I was in a program today called Lead Brevard, which is a really cross-sectional leadership program, bringing together community leaders to talk about ways, like one of the things we learned today, he talked about that there are what we call wicked problems, right? And these are the kind of problems that seem so big that they're not really solvable. But in reality, you're not necessarily always just trying to solve a problem, but what we should always be doing is trying to make improvements. And what I'll say is that when I think about what I've seen from you and with Palm Bay Live, I have to commend you, because having a venue and a place where people can come and talk about whatever the issues are, or talk about the objectives and talk about ways forward, solutions, is critical to a community that's growing.
Exactly. That's exactly what I see, and I hopefully it will continue, and hopefully others will see it just like the way you see it, and we can.
Yeah, we're gonna keep sharing it with them
until they come through, until they recognize exactly what it is that we're trying to accomplish. Yeah, but like I told Ms. Isabella Wright, and I will keep repeating it, this platform is not just for me, it's for the community. And it's not just for Palm Bay, it's for the entire Brevard. So anybody can come through on this platform, talk about their organization and what it is that they're doing. It's not just a political based platform. And it seems that way because that's when I do a lot of the shows, because that's how we got started. But the intent is to have a wider reach, to have community involvement, whether it be churches, organizations such as yours, or Miss Isabella Wright, etc., that is having events, etc., that wants to come on board and talk about what it is that you're doing. This is a platform for it.
Yeah.
And there's no charge. You just come on and tell me exactly what it is that you want to do, and we'll get a
How
word out.
often do you run the show?
You see, right now, like I said, right now is more streamlined to the political season, but I'm going to have a steady date and time for shows. Right now, I'm talking to one other person who is online right now. I'm talking to her on my phone here, that she will be coming on board soon to be doing some Sunday programming, hopefully, for me. Miss Josephine Hunter. I don't know if you know that name.
I do. I know her.
Yeah, so I've been talking to her about coming on and doing some programming as well for me. So yeah, and if you or anybody that wants to come on and do a regular programming, the platform is there. We'll just set it up and you can run your show, whatever it is, and we'll just talk about it ahead of time, making sure everything is kosher and there's not going to be any,
controversy.
We'll go through the programming that you're going to be doing, of course, beforehand to make sure that it's not going to destroy my platform come the next day. So, you know what I'm saying. So, and that
understood.
Kind of thing.
Yeah,
So,
I live in Melbourne, and I do a lot in the South Melbourne community, which is Josephine Hunter. She lives in that community. I'm involved. I'm a veteran, retired Air Force lieutenant colonel after 30 years of service, and I'm very passionate about revitalization and redevelopment of the American Legion and the community. So that's all. I think that there's a number of different topics that we could touch on, and I think the real key when you come to a platform such as this is how do we connect the dots, right? Because there's always people that are doing certain things, but when there's a venue again or a medium such as this, people can start to hear about what's going on here, what's going on there. Oh no, I didn't know that, and they're getting it, real time. They're getting it direct. But like you say, you want to make sure that you have good people on and the content is not going to be controversial in order to and we don't want any of that anyway, because moving forward is always the best action. Even now there's something that we got to get hot about and we really need to address. That's okay, and we still need to do that in a way so that way we are really talking about solutions to whatever that issue is.
Not only that, the other problem, Marcus, is that Palm Bay Live is a 501c organization. So that is important to know. Yeah. So because of that, I don't want to hurt my status. Of course, I work hard to get it. So I don't want to hurt my status where that is concerned. So we have to be wise where that is concerned.
Yeah. Hey, you heard that. You heard that straight from Kevin.
Yeah.
So, but information and to be informative, this is great. So thank you for having me. I appreciate the invitation and looking forward to further conversation with you.
Yes, no problem. No problem. And we have 5 minutes before the president joins us. But in the meantime, for those who are watching us, we are going to be doing a debate tonight starting at 8 p.m. Eastern. We're going to be doing an 8 p.m. Debate tonight starting at 8 p.m. Eastern. Mr. David Jones, our moderator, is in the studio. And I see him working away, looking over those questions and getting them finalized. I sent him a bunch of questions last night of where we at. So I guess he's just reviewing them and making sure that we are ready to roll come at 8 o'clock tonight. So one twist and to the debates tonight is that both candidates will have an opportunity to pose a question to each. One question each to their opponents. So that is going to be one major twist of the debates tonight. So we're looking forward to that. I kind of want to wonder what they're going to be asking each other, and so that I'm going to be really looking forward to how that works. What would be the best way to connect to discuss details? I'm a Star Bush. I'm not sure what you're asking, but if you want to get in touch with me about the show, etc., you can email me at kevin@palmbaylive.com. That's kevin@palmbaylive.com. If that's what if you're asking about how you can be a part of the platform or etc.
I'm wondering if she's asking if she wants to ask a question during the debate, though. Maybe.
Maybe, I don't know. Well, she can opine in the comments here and let me know exactly what it is that she's trying to ask.
Okay.
Okay. The link for the viewing is going to be facebook.com/Palm Bay Live or youtube.com/Palm Bay Live to watch the show tonight. So youtube.com/Palm Bay Live or facebook.com/Palm Bay Live or palmbaylive.com. You can go straight to the website and watch it there as well. All right.
Is all of that on the flyer, I think, about the debate? All those different ways of viewing?
Yes, that is on the flyer as well. The social media handles are there. Palm Bay Live, and then it's just going to be Palm Bay Live. All right, let's see what else. All right, so I guess I answered a question. Mr. David Henson, the questions for the already finalized, and I think that is one of the questions. If it's not, David, can you check the list for me and give me a thumbs up if that's one of the questions to remind me? If that's one of the questions for the debate tonight. If it's not, then we probably need to put it in there. But I did ask it in the interviews. I did ask it of Mr. Nathan White, and I did ask it of Mr. Kenny Johnson, I believe, as well. So David, I'm not hearing you. I see you talking, but I'm not hearing you. So just give me a thumbs up or send something in the chat and in our private chat here so I can know exactly what you're saying. All right. Let's see what else. Any other questions from the audience? I see folks are watching. This is good. I think we're going to have a good turnout tonight, I hope.
Awesome.
I hope. I saw there was a lot of public interest where this was concerned, and folks usually generally want to like to watch debates, right? They like debates, so that's one of the things that I see with this platform. The couple of debates that I've done over the years, especially with the judicial candidates. If I go to my YouTube channel, that is one of the ones that get viewed the most. When I did that first judicial candidate debates, that I mean that went off around the place, and got a lot of calls with regards to that. And then the hottest interview that I've done on this platform is with Miss Janice Cripps. That one had a lot of views as well. Let's see. Any other questions from the audience? While we wait, we have 1 minute until the president of the Black Chamber of Commerce join us, and we can have her go ahead and tell us more about her organization, what she does, and that good stuff. Let's see. No other questions from the audience. So I hope the audience have your popcorns ready, right? You have your popcorns ready, and you're ready to roll. Our moderator, Mr. David Jones, is going to be asking some tough questions tonight. And so I hope you have your popcorns ready, and let's see how these candidates react to the questions, and how they, how they communicate with us via this platform tonight. So let's see what happens here. Let's see. Not yet. We're still waiting for the president of the Black Chamber of Commerce to join us in the studio, but we are. In the meantime, I can play some background music. Let's see.
Yeah.
Let's see. That I'm not gonna get flagged for.
Yeah, this is good stuff. This is exciting. Is David Jones? We're gonna bring him in.
Not yet. I don't think he's ready for us. Are you ready for us, David? Okay, David says ready. I can't hear you, David. You're muted. Nope, not hearing you. Yep, your mic is kind of shallow, so let's work on that.
No, man. You know, it's the music, man. You're jamming so much right now. You're just tuning me out. I'm just joking.
Oh, that's what it is.
Listen, yeah, I'm gonna blame the groovy jams in the background and not my microphone. But tell me, do I still sound that way? I did bring it close.
No, I can hear you. I can hear you just fine.
Just better. Yeah, much better.
All right, perfect. Let's see if we can dim a little bit.
Much better. Well,
Yeah,
then
so,
while we're waiting, tell the folks about your organization and what you do.
Okay. Well, I got two organizations.
Yes, go ahead.
Diversity of Thought Inc. is a for-profit social enterprise. We consult for individuals and organizations who are looking to enhance their leadership and development and or their diversity, equity, and inclusion efforts. So, man, we host workshops inside of organizations. We've currently just started hosting community workshops, which has been fantastic. We have a workshop that's titled Finding the Right Talent, because in today's day and age, there's a talent war. Everybody's hiring, and most of the individuals that you want working for you are probably working somewhere else. So we teach you, this is gonna sound horrible, but like, how do you go and recruit and steal talent? To find the right individuals, and then how do you build a talent pipeline so that you're not always struggling and hunting while you're looking? And then how do you lawfully and behavior-based interview? Over 70% of individuals who are hiring managers have never been formally trained how to facilitate an interview. And I've had clients that have had to go to court because they've said and done things wrong inside of an interview. So we create this. These are larger clients that can afford to possibly settle. If you're a small or medium business owner, that can take you under. So our job is to find ways that we can create people to excel and establish phenomenal workplace environments. And that is what we do on the for-profit side. Now, on the nonprofit, it's a Diversity of Thought nonprofit organization. Don't let me name stuff. It's going to be the same. It's just, simple. And so we call it .MPO. .MPO, man, we have several programs. So we are in partnership with Lead Brevard, which is an amazing organization within itself here in Brevard County. We have a program that's called Impact Brevard, where we help nonprofit boards increase and enhance their diversity opportunities and challenges that they may be facing. We do have, at times, it's been seen that we have diversity issues on nonprofit boards throughout the county. And oftentimes that is due to a lack of knowledge of circles from different groups that may be different than yourself. So what we do is we take individuals from underrepresented communities, we put them through board governance training. We are working to get them mentors so that they can learn and understand what it takes to be on a nonprofit board. And then we take nonprofit boards through different types of inclusion training that says, hey, how do you work better together so that everybody has a voice? And then how do you bring on that new uniqueness once they do join your board? And when those two groups meet together, magic should happen. So that is a program that we are working on, as well as we have the Unity Speaker Program. So Unity for us stands for Undoing Negative Influences in Today's Youth. It's a program that houses speakers so that organizations who have like aftercare programs or work with kids, they're always looking for somebody to come out and inspire these kids. But it's hard to find, it's just, you just start asking randomly, like, hey man, you know somebody who can talk about finance to these kids? It should be better than that. Marcus is like, this guy, but it should be a lot easier than that. And so what we do is we take individuals from different industries and we teach them how to facilitate to kids so that their presentation is age appropriate, as well as we help them build a presentation. We build an activity that they can do with the kids so that the kids aren't just sitting there like this. And then we have a website called unityspeaker.org where these organizations can go to the site, say, I need somebody to come speak to, I need a women, hopefully a Hispanic woman, to talk to these group of kids who are Hispanic about women in STEM. They can click that. It pops up. Here's some different options. They can get a hold of that person. It makes it significantly easier. And then, Kevin, the last program we have is building cultural bridges. I have a unique perspective on law enforcement because, Kevin, you may not know this, but I am Black. And,
Really?
and
I thought you were different color, man.
I mean, and I've had some interesting experiences with law enforcement. Some have been really good and some have been horrifically bad. But where my perspective is unique in a certain essence is that my biological father has been in law enforcement for over 36 years. And so seeing it from both sides, I recognize that there was just a lack of understanding of culture. And so we take a group of what I would call youngish Black leaders from around the community, and we partner with our law enforcement agency currently working with Palm Bay PD. And we basically take time to learn each other's culture and understand not just the beauty of it, but how we can both in turn work together to enhance what it is that we're trying to do, coming together as a community. So it's an amazing program. I'm really thankful and happy that Palm Bay Police Department has joined forces with this. There's a lot of stuff that we're going to be doing coming up. I'm really excited because they're going to do a Citizens Police Academy for us. And I got to tell you, man, like I am super stoked. I'm out of shape, but I'm going to get into the gym. Like Marcus is in shape. He's ready. I am
ready.
Yes, I don't stay ready. I stay eating. So, so yeah, man, that's the two organizations. And then I also want to say thank you, man. I don't mind moderating these things. I do believe, because of what I do, I understand how important it is to be non-biased in these issues, so that we can inform the public and help the public make the best informed decision without any of our bias. So I appreciate you bringing me back for this, Kevin.
Yes, this is second go around, and like I said, told you the last time, you're officially adapted. You're not going anywhere. Can Marcus or Dave, can you text Miss Victoria for me, because she is not on camera. I see her in the studio, but she needs to be on camera so I can bring her in. Oh, there she is. She's here. Okay.
Ask and you shall receive.
There we go. All right, Miss Jones, I'm going to bring you on camera, and I'm going to allow you to go ahead. David, do you want to come off camera for a second?
Yeah, that's fine. You can. Nobody wants to see this.
Get ready. You have about 20 minutes.
Go ahead. Good job, David.
Okay. All right, Miss Jones, how are you?
I'm doing well, and yourself?
Very good. Very good. Welcome
to
the
Vicky,
platform.
good evening.
Hey, how you doing? I was backstage.
Yeah, I heard, and I'm out here, talking with Kevin. We're just having all this conversations, talking about all this good stuff. So let's go.
I heard it. It was a lot of great information. David put out a lot of great information. I'm always excited to talk to David and learn new things. He is basically like a walking resource right now in Brevard County. So it's definitely a blessing to have him, as a contact in our world.
Yes, it is. Definitely. So go ahead and tell us about your organization and just inform the public what it is that the Black Chamber of Commerce do here in Brevard.
Okay. Well, first of all, good evening. My name is Victoria Jones. I'm the founder, president, and CEO of the Space Coast Black Chamber of Commerce. Kevin, I'd like to say thank you for giving me an opportunity to speak tonight in regards to the Space Coast Black Chamber of Commerce. And we serve as the principal advocate, leader in fostering economic success for Black business owners and the Black business community on the Space Coast. Our vision of the Space Coast Black Chamber of Commerce is to serve as the leading advocate of the Space Coast for the growth of Black business. Another thing is our chamber is devoted to cultivating a thriving business environment for Black businesses, as well as increasing public awareness, educating, and advocating for our chamber members. And so we are basically 2 years old. We were founded on June 19, 2020. We have roughly 170 members, small businesses. We have nonprofit organizations as well, some large, some small. But we are steadily growing. We're growing at a very, very fast rate. Each month we've been having networking events. We just recently had our first awards gala. We did I believe it was 5 signature awards, if I'm not mistaken, that we did of small businesses here on the Space Coast or organizations that we recognize. And so that was a sold out event, and we're looking forward to Black Chamber Day at the state's capital as well in March.
Okay. All right. So did you highlight the event, any events that's coming up in the near future?
Yes. So December 1st, we have a members lunch where we're going to discuss tourism and how we can promote some of the small businesses within the Black communities to learn how to market themselves and also get involved with the Office of Tourism and different organizations that can help them, boost their business and get other folks utilizing their services, or restaurants, if they have a restaurant or something like that, getting people to notice that they're there. So when we have rocket lunches or anything, our businesses are able to also make money as well.
Awesome. All right. I thank you so much for joining me tonight, along Mr. Marcus as well for joining me. And you guys know how to reach out to me now. Please, like I don't know if you heard the conversation earlier, but I was telling folks that listen, to utilize this platform to get information about your activities out to the public as much as possible. I'm going to be partying with Miss Lady J.
Okay.
She's a partner. Soon. Yeah, and she's going to be running a program on the platform as well at some point once I get her acclimated with the platform and how it works, so that she can also do her show on here as well. So I'm trying to branch out and do other things. Like I said before, Palm Bay Live was started in a political atmosphere, but it's not just for that. It's a community-based platform. It's to get the word out about anything and anything that's happening in Brevard. Although it's called Palm Bay Live, it's for everybody. So that's is where we're at. And so the Palm Bay Live I just gave the Palm Bay Live name because, again, we're the biggest city in Brevard, pretty much. So I figured that was the best way to capture a lot of attention. And it worked. During 2020, I had a lot of folks that came through the platform, judicial candidates, state reps, etc., that that came through and did interviews on here and that kind of thing. So it's been a great thing. And so I like where it's headed, and hopefully you guys can come aboard and help it grow some more. All right.
Most definitely. We would love to definitely collaborate with any of the organizations, including your organization. It is definitely important for broadcasting to be a part of our platform as a community, so that we can make sure that the narrative is controlled by folks within our community, and we can actually get the message of what it is that we need, or what folks just simply need to know. But once again, thank you, Kevin, for allowing me to be a part of this broadcast. I'm definitely honored. It's a privilege. I've actually watched your show on Facebook, and so I feel like I've met a celebrity. I'm famous now. I made it on Palm Bay Live. So
right, there we go.
There you go. There you go. There you go. There you go. Yes, I thank you for that. So, folks, Black Chamber of Commerce, they're new. They started around about the same time that I did back in 2020. And this is a great organization to join. If you're looking to join another chamber, please reach out to them. I saw their gala all over Facebook the other day. Unfortunately, because of work conflict, I wasn't able to attend. But I saw all the different fancy stuff that was going on. And I looked at my wife and was like, man, we could have a hot day tonight. We missed out.
People were out. They were dressed sharp. It was a beautiful event, man. It was a lovely event.
It was a beautiful event just to see just a room full of beautiful people, and to have some of Brevard's most brightest folks in the room. Was it was an amazing feeling, and definitely an undescribable historic moment, since it was the first of its nature. But definitely, we would love to have you and your wife next year at the gala,
definitely.
enjoying yourselves, looking lovely and exquisite.
Yeah, and I like that Nancy from the Palm Bay Chamber of Commerce also came out to support. I saw her there as well. So I like that,
Nancy is
that
amazing.
collaboration of other chambers coming together to give you that support in your first inaugural, situation. So.
Yeah, Nancy has been amazing.
David said maybe Palm Bay Live can go live from Gala next year. Oh, let's work on that, David.
We definitely got to work on that. You can do live coverage from the red carpet.
There you go. There you go.
Definitely. Now, I just want to make this point. I know Vicky kind of talk about this all the time. It's really important that whenever you have a Black chamber or any of these other chambers, it's not to take away from anybody, but the whole point is that we're making a value proposition that if we build up businesses, if we build up people, everybody wins, right? And you just don't want anybody to be left out of the equity equation. And so that's what this is really all about. We want everyone to be empowered, to be comfortable, and to work together. Like you made the comment about working across all the chambers. Absolutely, that's absolutely important. And then and as they do that, then we continue to build up communities that have been underserved. So then that way, we all can win and share in the larger pie.
And I just want for the record, I do want to share this for the viewers. Nancy has been amazing from the Palm Bay Chamber. She's reached out. Mike from the Melbourne Chamber has been very supportive and offered support. I've met with the new president over at Cocoa Beach as well, and so they understand the concept of our chamber. The market is totally different from who they're marketing to versus who the Space Coast Black Chamber is marketing to, and then to bring a closing to Marcus's point or whatever. The main thing that I want to let people know is that this organization brings value to the marketplace. It also helps these small businesses remain relevant, competitive, and also to become sustainable for future generations. And so that is one of the most important things that, I want people to take away from this, is that ultimately this is a platform to build generational wealth for these small businesses in their future generations to come.
All right. Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys. We're going to prepare now for the main event. The main event tonight is going to be the debate between Mr. Nathan White and Mr. Kenny Johnson. And David Jones, you're going to be our moderator. And I seem looking over those final questions, make sure that they're ready to go. So it's going to be the main event tonight. And the twist in tonight's debate is going to be each candidate will have a chance to ask a question, or pose a question to their opponent. So that's going to be the twist in the debate tonight. So we're looking forward to see what they ask of each other. So that is going to be the twist in the debate. So please get your popcorn, call your neighbors, have a watch party, and let's make this thing work. Let's rock and roll. And again, thank you guys for coming online tonight and joining me. You guys know how to reach out to me now. And you can also reach out to Miss Lady J or David, and they all know how to get in touch with me and that kind of thing. So we're going to prepare. We're going to take a little break here. Go ahead.
I said thank you.
No problem.
Thank you so much, Kevin, for allowing us to have this moment.
And don't forget about the Florida Hispanic Chamber. I interviewed Miss Isabella right earlier at 7:00 at the top of the hour. So don't forget about her chamber as well. For those who would like to inquire about that, please reach out to her. And that way we can, you can basically, patronize these chambers and, find out what they're about and see which one is the best fit for you. Okay. So with that said, we're going to take a 10-minute intermission here that we can prepare for the debates. Thank you guys so much, and see you guys soon.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Have a good evening.
You too. Welcome to Palm Bay Live, celebrating 2 years in business. Welcome to Palm Bay Live, celebrating 2 years in business. Welcome to Palm Bay Live, celebrating 1 year in business.
Here. I just want to take this opportunity Kevin's given me to say thank you. Thank you for instilling a trust in me, to selecting me, choosing me to be the next mayor of this great city we call Palm Bay. I really appreciate the opportunity. I won't let you down. I'll serve you through God, honor, and integrity. May God bless you. May God keep you. May God continue to bless our great city, Palm Bay. Hoorah.
Okay, folks, I have some unsettling news. I just spoke to Mr. Nathan White, and unfortunately, there won't be a debate tonight. Mr. White has chosen to back out of the debate for his reasons. He stated that for whatever reason, he believed the debate is not going to be fair. I don't know what those reasons are. I don't know where that came from. So I'm kind of shocked by it. I spoke to him via email earlier this morning. We went over the debate rules. And so I thought everything was clear. I was on my 7 o'clock show, and apparently he tried to send me an email, but I wasn't checking my emails. For whatever reason, Mr. Nathan White has chosen to back out of the debate, and there won't be a debate tonight. And I do apologize. We had this all set, and yeah, it is. um, so I am very,
Kevin,
I'm very positive.
is there how do I say this? So I'm assuming that there's nothing that we can do or say to calm or to get him back on track.
No,
'Cause I would
I
love-
just tried. I tried
Okay.
for the last, yeah, that's why I had to pause from the platform. So yeah, I just tried to talk him into it, but for whatever reason, he was told that something was being planned. I'm not sure where he got that information from. That's not how I run my platform. And everybody that's been on my platform knows that. Um, so my questions I don't know if that's one of the things that he may
So
have thought. My questions are not shared with my candidates. My questions are handed to the moderator a day before, not the day to go pursue them to make sure everything is lined up. Um, I am very puzzled by this.
Kevin, may I suggest we
Yeah.
have individuals who are signing on because they wanted to hear from candidates. A candidate has the right to decide to speak or not speak. That is completely up to them. As a moderator, also as a citizen, I do believe that if possible, are we able to then just continue? We do have a list of questions that you put together. These were questions that you gathered from the public. We do have a candidate that is here. I don't mind asking questions to one candidate. I prefer to ask the two candidates, but that is up to you, sir, if you would like us to continue. This is your program, so.
Yeah, I'm very. I never had this happen before. In my 2 years of doing this, I never had this happen before. And anybody knows me knows how I operate. I have judicial candidates that appear in my program. I've, I they know how I operate, and everybody knows this is not this is not my MO. This is not what I do. This is not how I operate at all. So this this is rather unsettling that he did this. He could have called me ahead of time, let me know, but that's neither here or there. And folks, I'm a 501c. I'm not here to tell people how to vote. This is not how I operate. I'm not here to be unbiased. This is not how I operate. If I think yeah. All right.
We both operate
Penny's here.
501c3, so
Penny's
I hear
here.
you.
We have the questions. Penny, go ahead and ask Penny the questions. And audience, we have a big audience tonight. Not a lot of folks watched Kenny last night. So if you have questions for Kenny, we will bring them up on the screen as well. So let's ask Kenny the questions. And if you have questions for Kenny as well, please bring them on the please drop them down in the comments section, and let's have a go at it. So go ahead, David. I'm going to take myself over the screen. You and Kenny have a conversation, and if questions do come up, I will toss them on the screen. Okay.
Okay, Kevin, can I make a suggestion, please?
So go ahead.
Okay, so I think that the what we would call, I guess, the rules of engagement were pretty clear. And that is that each candidate would have 2 minutes to answer a question with a 1 minute rebuttal. I don't think we need to change from that. I want this to seem like we're giving the candidate an unfair platform by letting them and Deputy Mayor Kitty Johnson. I'm not saying that you will be droning on forever, but I do still believe that we should have clear, concise answers and a time response. So if that is okay with you, Kevin, I'd like to make sure that we keep it consistent with what the platform was going to be. 2 minutes for a response before, if I do see that there's an opportunity for a rebuttal, I will take that opportunity, as well as I think it is important to see not just the questions that we're going to be asked of Mr. Johnson, but what questions we plan on asking Mr. White as well, so that there could be full transparency, because some of the questions were the same and some of the questions were not. So are you okay with that direction, sir? Because again, this is your show. I just want to make sure that.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Kenny, you okay with that? Okay, he's giving me a thumbs up.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, so thank you very much, Kevin, for allowing me to host this event. My name is David Jones. I am the CEO of an organization called Diversity of Thought. We do leadership and development consulting and workshops around Brevard County. I'm a resident of Palm Bay. I grew up here in Palm Bay since 1987. Did what some of the individuals who grew up here do at times. I left Palm Bay, but if you grew up here, when you leave, you're more than likely going to come back. Brevard County has a way of sucking you back in, and that's not a bad thing. It's a great place to raise your family, and I love raising my daughter here. I get involved in politics because if not politics, they're going to get involved with you. So I think it's important that we understand who it is that is wanting to lead us, what they stand for, and how they plan on doing so. So I'm always honored when Kevin asked me to do this. Last time we did it for the special election, one of the compliments that I genuinely appreciated came from now Councilman, your fellow Councilman, Pete Filiberto. He said he loved the process. He loved the fact that it was unbiased. Everybody had a fair shot. So again, that I agree with Kevin's sentiment on this. It makes me sad that we don't have an opponent tonight. However, Deputy Mayor, thank you for joining us. We appreciate you joining us tonight.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So, the way we were going to start this is you would have 2 minutes to go ahead and just introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about who you are and why you are wanting to continue to serve on our city council.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Jones. All right. Kenny Johnson, born and raised here. Well, raised here in other places. My father was in the military, so we traveled a lot. Lived in Texas, Mississippi, Korea, Germany, Panama, all over. But I think that helped make me very well diverse. Once he retired and got back from Iraq, we moved back here in 2003, where I went to middle school and high school here. And upon completion, had a football scholarship, played college ball at Charleston Southern University for 4 years, started for 3 years, graduated in 2012, moved back here in 2013, got back involved with the community, my church, other nonprofits, to the point where I started getting involved in local government in 2016. But it wasn't until 2018 where the opportunity provided itself for me to run for office. And that's when I was elected in November 2018. And since being on council over the past 4 years, accomplished so many things, being the initiator for the comprehensive plan update that hadn't been updated in 20 years, body cameras, marijuana civil citation programs, police and fire pay raises, police mentorship programs, creating a program to put up shutters for the elderly and disabled, road maintenance policy, making sure our roads are getting done correctly, putting our stormwater in so that way we don't have issues, which we're trying to make sure we cover the whole city in regards to drainage, and sustainability, including the temporary moratorium that was recently placed a few weeks ago. So much has been accomplished in the past 4 years, but there's still so much more. A lot of the issues that we have didn't just occur within the past 4 or 6 years. These are issues that have been in the making in the past decades. So it's going to take time to address them. Now I'm just looking for 4 more years to continue taking action and getting results, because that's what Palm Bay deserves.
Okay. Well, I appreciate that intro, and the question, the original question was, as the incumbent in this race, why should voters give you another term in office?
Oh, I guess I kind of touched on that before.
Yeah.
But you know, if people really, if they look at either my door hangers or my flyers, and look at what I accomplished in the past 4 years, city council, you have to be a leader, and you have to be willing to listen. Many times, people will come to me or to council with problems, and instead of just harping on a problem, I'm searching and working with staff and working with others to find solutions to these problems, find ways where we can mitigate and make, you know, everybody happy. And if we can't, then find a compromise so we can move forward together. So, you know, when you're looking at your council member, you want somebody who's going to provide solutions and not just problems.
Okay. What I would have asked Mr. White is, as the newcomer to Palm Bay politics, why do you believe you're the most fit to serve? And other than Mr. Johnson, would have been the question. And again, as we continue this, I just want to make sure that there's full transparency. So the questions that we would ask you, and then we would also let the individuals know what we were going to ask your opponent. We would have continued to talk about the idea and the fact that voters would like to understand each candidate's vision for Palm Bay. As you're seeking a 4-year term, the question would have gone to Mr. White with what is his number one priority, and how he would implement it. Instead, in turn, I will go to you now, sir. What changes would you like to see happening during your time in office?
Well, for the next 4 years, the main thing is response times for our police and fire, making sure we're getting enough men and women on the road to better serve and protect our community, police stations, fire stations, because the city's going to grow regardless. Even with the temporary moratorium, we're seeing people come here, you know, on a regular, because Florida's the hot spot to go to. So with that being said, we want to make sure our current and our future residents are safe whether they're traveling or whether they're sleeping in their homes or dropping off their kids. We want to make sure everybody's safe within our city.
Okay. Mr. White has said that Palm Bay has the money to do things that we need to do, but we're not budgeting it well. We're not putting it where it needs to go because we're not looking at it like a priority list. And we would have asked, what specifically priorities should we be focused on? And again, we are continuing to go on because individuals took time out. They wanted to see 2 candidates. I just want to make sure it's clear for anybody who's joining late. Unfortunately, we did have Nathan White, who has decided to back out of tonight's debate. We are going to, for reasons where I believe what was said is he thought something was going to be unfair. We are going to continue to highlight questions that both candidates would have been asked, hopefully to continue to show full transparency in this process. Palm Bay Live has been unbiased, continues to be unbiased, as well as myself. Our job is to hopefully create an environment where people can be fully aware and understanding of the options that are put in front of them. We did have a section where we were going to, which was a curveball, and it was a little different. And I got to give Kevin some credit for this, because you don't always see this. But we were going to allow the candidates to ask each other a question, which would have been interesting. But because we cannot do that, and Kenny, I will not make you ask yourself a question. I will move on to starting with you. Employers all over Florida, and including in Palm Bay, have been faced with workforce shortages. I'm going to start with you. Well, sorry, I'm reading this as it's directed. Mr. Johnson, how can we make Palm Bay more attractive to the members of the workforce or companies moving to the state of Florida?
So that's I'll try to wrap that up in 2 minutes, but you have to make it a place for people wanting to come to. So that goes to the point of, you know, decreasing our response times, making sure there's more police and fire. That's one thing that, you know, when realtors are showing houses, they're showing like, hey, you know, the response time or the crime in this area is this much, or you don't have to worry about it. So that's one part. 2, we got to make sure we establish some entertainment. Many of the people that are moving here are within the, you know, 20 straight out of college to the 30, 40 range, and they still with families want to enjoy, something within their community. So we got to blossom areas for things like that to grow. So that's why I'm excited that we're working towards the downtown Palm Bay in the US 1 corridor over by Port Malabar Boulevard area, because this is what we need. Melbourne's been established for a lot longer than Palm Bay. We're just a little bit over 60 years old. So it's going to take time, but we're working towards that direction. Aside from that, which I'm excited about, the comprehensive plan updating the comprehensive plan is going to create more areas for light industrial, commercial. And with that provides more opportunities for businesses and jobs to come straight in instead of having to worry about land use and rezoning, things of that nature. We can get Elon Musk or whoever to drop their business or industrial, Amazon warehouse or Google come right in, and that's plenty of jobs for our workforce.
Okay. So all local races throughout the state focus on the balance of development versus overdevelopment. And you hear many candidates refer to this as smart development. Mr. Johnson, what is your position? And first and foremost, I need to apologize. Mr. White would have been asked the same question that we just asked you. But the question that I would ask you at this moment would be what is your position on development in Palm Bay, and how do we ensure to maintain the quality of life in our city?
So that's a great question. So back to the comprehensive plan update, let me break it down. So the comprehensive plan is a makeup of the whole city and the zoning of it. So you have areas that are multifamily, areas that are residential, areas that are light industrial, heavy industrial, commercial. So majority of Palm Bay for the longest has been mostly residential. So the updating of the comprehensive plan is important because we can create, proper areas and not allow spot zoning, but proper areas for residential or PUDs, planned unit developments, industrial, things of that nature. So to that point, what I was noticing as we were coming to the conclusion of this comprehensive plan update, we're getting applicants after applicants trying to spot zone and change certain areas, when I'm like, hey, we're on the tail end of this update. Maybe we need to take a pause. And that's where the temporary moratorium came in. I was working with staff on it because they agreed as well. And, there was a little opposition because there's applicants who have donated to me, who voiced their, opposition towards it, and even realtors. But I was telling them, like, the long-term goal and what's best for our city, this is what we need to do. We need to take a pause and reestablish what we want to look like as a community and move forward from there. So to that point, I've also established a low-impact development program to, incentivize, green stormwater runoff. So that way we're protecting our Turkey Creek and Indian River Lagoon, as well as voluntary inclusionary housing to provide incentives for affordable housing, because unfortunately state legislators made it where we can't mandate affordable housing. So the only thing we can do is do it voluntarily, so through incentives.
Thank you, sir. Let's see here. The same question would have been asked to Mr. White. Mr. White has also criticized the current council's plan to increase property taxes from 3% to 12%. We would have asked him to explain his position. And so the follow-up would have been, Deputy Mayor, your opponent criticized the council's plan to increase property taxes from 3% to 12%. His argument is that it negatively impacts affordable housing. Can you explain your decision on that?
So even when we were having a budget workshop, I was the first council member to speak back in June and said, this is not the year. While we do have many things to address, this is not the year to go above the 3% cap. And anybody who thinks I'm lying can go to the video. I believe it was like June 21st, 2022, when I was the first council member, spoke up before anybody else and said we need to stay within the cap. And because of the increase that we're seeing in our economy. Now, to that point, I understand why the rest of council voted to go above it, because we're not going to decrease the response times unless we're properly funding our police. And that's what the funds were allocated towards: police cars, additional police officers, additional firefighters, because that was the solution that they're looking towards to help protect our community. So when it comes to the cap, I didn't think this was the time to do it, but I understand why council moved in that direction. So you can't have it both ways. Are we going to properly fund our police, or are we just going to, pass the buck and say, end waste without showing where we're going to end the waste at?
Okay. Thank you. A question that would have gone to both candidates is the following. How do you feel about the transportation options currently available in our city? And can all of our residents affordably and safely get where they need to go? And if not, what will you do to improve transportation in our city?
So one thing I've been working towards is working with SCAT, Space Coast Area Transit, because as we can see, there's an increase in vehicles on our city roads. But what we can do if we provide better public transportation, that takes away cars on our roads, and that decreases the chances of some of these traffic fatalities and these accidents that we're seeing on a regular basis at this point. But part of it's also on us residents as well, to make sure we're not running yellow lights and we're not coming off I-95 onto Malabar Road at the same rate that we were on 95. So the earnest is on all of us, but what I'm working on personally is with Space Coast Area Transit to see how we can expand the scope of service, so that way it doesn't take 2 hours to get from Palm Bay to Vieira.
Same question would have went to your opponent. I would have followed up and said, Mr. Johnson, I want to ask you about the progress related to the Palm Bay Road Bond. In 2019, voters overwhelmingly approved the $150 million road bond referendum. Are you satisfied with its progress?
So in 2018, it was approved at the same time I was voted in November, and we're moving at a good rate. Am I satisfied? No. And the main thing is with the inflation, with the increase in asphalt and the decrease in workers, a lot of the prices have gone up. So the quoted 150, just being candid, the quoted 150 million, that was to repair all the roads. Now with the prices of all this asphalt and everything, we're going to have to tap into the undesignated fund balance to address everything. And that's just keeping it honest, because with the rate of how much it's increased since 2018 to 2022, it's not going to cut it.
Okay. Your opponent would have been asked the same if he was satisfied with the progress of the Palm Bay Road Bond, and would he do anything different moving forward? Deputy Mayor, we need to talk about State Representative Randy Fine. He's been extremely vocal in this race. And particularly has endorsed Nathan White. My first question, would have gone to you. You've been in a well-public feud with State Representative Randy Fine. In July, it was reported that the police were called after you, and again, I am reading the questions that were given to me, after you vaguely threatened Mr. Fine at an event in Melbourne. How does this incident speak to your character and leadership? And then do you have any regrets on what took place?
All right, so I'm gonna clarify and set the record straight. There was no threatening. I was brought up, if you have an issue with someone, you talk to them. So I saw Representative Fine. I walked up to him and right by me was retired Lieutenant Colonel Marcus Smith, who was labeled a thug, which is highly disrespectful to such a veteran of his standard. But I walked up to Representative Fine and just talk to him because we have an issue. I've been trying to work with him. He kicked me out of his office back in 2019, trying to work with him in Tallahassee. And there's been multiple times where I've attempted to, extend the olive branch so we can get what's best done for Palm Bay. Clearly that's not on his agenda, but it's still on mine, and I'm still willing to work, but I'm not going to focus on him when I need to focus on Palm Bay. So that's all I have to say about that.
Okay. The follow-up to your opponent would have been, and again, just for clarity for anybody that is not aware, unfortunately, Mr. White did back out of the debate prior to us going on, and we are walking through the questions that would have been asked for both candidates individuals took the time out to watch this debate, and we want to make sure and be very clear that neither candidate has received what the questions were going to be, and we want to show the public what the questions were from both sides. So that question was for you, for Randy Fine. For Mr. White, what we would have asked is, he's been endorsed by Randy Fine, who's been in a public battle with you. He has referred to Kenny Johnson as a pedophile, as a rapist, and has accused him of sabotaging Nathan on social media. The question to Mr. White would have been is, does he endorse Mr. Fine's language and tone? And will he ask Mr. Fine to stop being involved into the local race? And does he accept the endorsement? Because a candidate has the option to accept an endorsement or not accept an endorsement. That is completely and utterly up to them. That would have been the question that would have been asked. And then we would have moved on to the next section. So let's talk about the environment. Climate change is a real global issue, but it's also a local one. What areas related to sustainability do you feel we need to improve as a community?
Stormwater. Two reasons. One, the stormwater, we need to have proper pipes in place before we can pave over these roads. You don't want to put pave a road and then have to put the pipe in. So you want to make sure you have proper pipes placed and then the road and then on top of that, so we can have proper drainage. I know many of you have been here since 2004 when we had the back hurricanes. And I remember there's guys on jet skis going down main roads because the flooding was that bad. So we want to make sure we don't have, terrible flooding, which can also cause sewage backup, especially for those with septic. So stormwater drainage and stormwater pipes being properly placed is big on that.
David, if at any point in time you want to take some questions from the audience, let me know so we can I can select some few to go on the screen. Okay.
Okay. I got
keep them
two
coming.
more, Kevin, and then we'll take some from the audience as well. Let's see here. So we have all right, what I'm going to state here is biased, but I believe that we have an amazing group of first responders here in our city of Palm Bay. Having said that, first responder response time is an issue that is being discussed in Palm Bay. Deputy Mayor, are you satisfied with the response time from our first responders? What do you think can be done to improve it? And why do you think our first responders are understaffed?
So once again, this isn't a 4-year or 6-year issue. Chief Mario Jello did a great job showing the breakdown and the disparity of where it was happening with how many police officers we need on the roads and how many we have. And this is from decades ago. But, an officer was, 2 or 3 officers were added each year within the budget. And then, you had the crash back in 2008. And then we never really recovered from there or fully invested in that area. So 2 parts. One, we gave our police officers and firefighters a pay raise to make sure they feel welcome, they want to stay here. But also to the next point with us passing the budget, we're adding additional officers and we're adding additional police cars because no officer wants to stay, a part of a department where their car breaks down on them. So that's why it's important that we give them, the tools they need to properly protect us, as well as the men and women to assist them in doing that. Are we making moves and strides in the right direction? Yes, but we still have a long way to go.
Okay. Now, I sit on the Infrastructure Advisory and Oversight Committee for the City of Palm Bay, and I was an at-large appointee. Last night, we were able to hear in our meeting from Chris, who oversees utilities, and we've heard and we've seen there seems to be a staffing issue within the city. It's not one department, it's all departments. What as a council, or I guess not as a council, you, Deputy Mayor, what is it that you are working on to try to help solve that? And is there any other things that you feel like we should or could be doing in order to get a staff?
So that's a great question. So one of the things I worked on a few months ago with Brevard Public Schools was partnership between them and us in regards to career and technical program. So what I mean by that, they have a firefighter program, a dispatch program, welding, and other things that we're partnering with us, and they're going to send juniors and seniors to work within our departments as interns. Upon completion and graduation, they will have the opportunity, if they wish, to work for the city of Palm Bay. So from the age of 17, 18, 19, they could potentially have a career job and work their way up to utilities director or even city manager through this partnership. Aside from that, today, October 26th, I saw a few months ago that Brevard County was doing a job fair, and I'm like, why not Palm Bay? So I reached out to staff, saw what we can do, and sure enough, we had a job fair today with over 100 potential candidates that can work within our city. So I'm excited about that, and I'm excited that this is our first one, and we had such a large outcome of people interested in working. And to the last point, with the budget, we conducted a salary study. While it was lengthy, it's a salary study to make sure we're protecting those that have worked 10, 20, sometimes 30 years within the city of Palm Bay that haven't seen the adequate raise that they deserve. And the last thing you want is for those that serve our community to leave, because then there's nobody to serve our residents, the taxpayers, everybody. So you want to make sure you take care of home so that way you can take care of everywhere else.
Okay. Kevin, I'm going to ask one more question, and then I'll allow you to bring in a question in the crowd, whichever one it is that you're bringing in, because I know you have access to that. My question is just how do you plan on getting residents more involved in the decision-making process in the town? We have a lot of residents.
So that's, I guess I should hit on that. That was probably one of the first things that happened. Upon getting on city council, me being the millennial I am, I'm like, not everybody goes on the website to log in for Palm Bay City Council. So I talked with staff, I talked with IT, and we made it happen in regards to having our Facebook Live council meetings. That was something that didn't happen until I brought it up before staff and council. And here we have it to this day. And it allows those that are watching to share. And then the ones that share it can share it to somebody else, or, friends and family can share it. People from outside of the county are watching council meetings because families and friends are sharing. So that was a great initiative on providing an opportunity for more people to engage and even share dialogue. While we can read those public comments, they will have to either submit it through an email or come to a council meeting. It gives them an opportunity to see what's going on within their local government. Other than that, I've hosted town halls, even outside of campaigns. And just anytime I try to engage, whether it's at churches, events, I try to stay open. If somebody wants to speak with me, whether they're for me or opposed to what I'm pushing, I try to have that dialogue.
Okay. I can tell you, I apologize that I just got a message that said I should probably smile. I am a little frustrated. I really was looking forward to hearing from both you and your opponent. But I do want to bring some Kevin back in. How you doing, sir?
I'm here, David. I'm here, really disappointed, public. I'm very, very disappointed what took place tonight. But we're going to try to answer the audience questions as much as possible. But I need to say this and get this off my chest while I have a full audience as much as possible. To produce this show or to produce these shows is not a simple feat. There's a lot of work that I go through. I spend hours writing these questions, taking time away from family in order to get this show done. And for the candidate at the last minute to decide that he's going to back out. Remember, Palm Bay Live is not giving me a salary. I do not get paid from this platform. I do not collect any commercial revenue from Facebook or YouTube or anything like that. I do this from the bottom of my heart. I am here to serve my public, just like I did when I worked with Mr. Brian Anderson and everybody else to do the road bond. That was from the bottom of my heart. Now we have roads that are paved that we can drive on in the city of Palm Bay. And those things took a lot of time out of me, from my family, to get it done. A lot of folks don't know that I was the one that was championing the road bond initiative, pushing it. Kenny can tell you. When he was campaigning, I was there.
You were campaigning just as hard. You're campaigning just as hard.
And I saw an initiative to put together this Palm Bay Live. I made sure it's a 501c to stay unbiased, to make sure that, and people that have watched me over the years know how I produce my shows. I'm very tough on my questions. I also take questions from my audience. And when I get my questions from my audience, I clean them up to make sure I take out the curse words and the negative undertones and make sure that they're clean before I post them. And for this to happen tonight, after weeks of planning, is very disappointing. And it sets me back as a person. It sets me back as a person because it makes me think, am I doing the right thing?
Kevin,
right?
I got Kevin. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Do not stop what you're doing. I get a lot of my information about what's happening locally through Palm Bay Live. So I need you to, there's a reason why you don't pay me either, but what you said, maybe I should start asking for money. But I am with you, sir. I really love an informed public, because I believe that is how we make the best decisions. Hopefully it's beyond emotion and what I joke around and call gang-related politics, one side versus the other. With these races, and particularly local races, I hope that we can still continue to find ways to come together for what's the best thing for our city, because our lagoon needs help, and it doesn't need Republican help or Democrat help. It just needs help. Our roads, we still have work to do. I'm tired of us being called a bedroom community, and so I'm happy to hear things like we have a comprehensive plan that's being updated. I would like to see it updated faster, Deputy Mayor. But I'm with you, brother, man. I'm here because I'm living here. I'm raising my daughter here, and I need you to stay in it. Yeah, I need you to stay.
Question. Somebody asked it. Kevin just said he was campaigning alongside Kenny Johnson. No, Kevin was campaigning for the Road Bond Initiative. Back in 2018, I was campaigning for the Road Bond Initiative. Please get the facts right. Folks are ready to twist things. Listen.
There's going to be posts everywhere tomorrow. Kevin from Palm Bay Live says. Oh man. Hey,
but folks, I am very disappointed, and but yeah, this is about the community. So let's go back to the questions. Let me go find some. Randy, you're up. Here we go. Randy's question is, Kenny, you have always been very helpful with trying to improve the building department. Could you help develop an actual unlicensed contractor department to identify and shut these businesses down? Currently, there is nothing in place with teeth in Palm Bay. The county refuses to intervene because Palm Bay is not their jurisdiction.
All right, thank you. And that's something, so I've had to help Mr. Wickens a few times in navigating the building department, which I felt we've made progress, and I think he would too. But at the same time, I see through this question that there are things we can tighten up on. Mr. Wickens, we've talked on the phone. I would love to talk to you outside of this to see what we can accomplish, because right now I don't have a solid answer for you. So I would have to sit down with you and the building director, Mr. Valentino, so that way we can look at what all the issues are and then come up with solutions from there. Because Mr. Valentino, I've met with him multiple times, just like every other director, and he's willing to listen. But let's have that dialogue and see what solutions we can come up with. Because one thing about me, I'm not shy to say, hey, I don't have the answers personally, but I know where to get them, and we can get them.
All right. Let's see. Let's find
Kevin?
another question.
Kevin?
Yes, sir.
So somebody didn't listen and they messaged me a question instead of putting it on here.
Okay,
But
go ahead and post it.
it's not a bad question. What organizations or individuals have endorsed your candidacy and why?
All right. So the first organization was the Sierra Club. That's the organization that's they're very green friendly and they're big on sustainability. Next after them was the Space Coast Association of Realtors. Followed up, I received the police union endorsement first, and then shortly after the fire union endorsement, which I received both endorsements 2 years ago. The first two endorsements I didn't get, 4 years ago, but police and fire I got 4 years ago, and I believe they endorsed me again because they saw that I was a man of action, and what I said 4 years ago, I stood by and stayed true to. Because there's been times where they didn't endorse incumbents. But here, over the past 4 years, I've shown what I'm willing to do for our men and women in red and blue, and I'm still looking to do the same thing over the next 4 years.
Okay, folks. David, I want to tell folks, please like and share this live. As we know, Nathan White is not here tonight. I decided to back out at the last minute. So we have a question here from a community, one of your constituents, Ms. So Johnson, that says, can we speak about what is going on with the Majors Golf Course?
Yes, sir. Yes, we can. So I'll try to, since I have time. The Majors Golf Course, everyone knows, was closed. Previously, it was looking to be rezoned to provide 300 homes, Coulter homes. And during that time, while I had to be very careful in my dialogue, because matters that are quasi-judicial, I have to act as a judge. So I can't be biased one direction or another. I set up a town hall meeting with the golf course community and the Bayside Lakes community over at the American Legion off of Cogan Drive. And in that dialogue, I just, educated them on what the process is, how to reach out to council, how to speak to council, how to engage with the planning and zoning department, what they need to do without showing bias one way or another. And it was packed. My opponent was in there, and it was probably over 100, 200 people in there that were asking tough questions. But I'm telling you, like, when I say I'm accessible, I'm accessible. Fast forward, it failed in planning and zoning, and then it was withdrawn, and now it's closed. So now that it's closed, a lot of the dialogue we're hearing is, who's going to buy it? Is the city going to buy it? Is somebody else going to buy it and keep it a golf course community? Are there going to be others that are going to buy it and try to make it homes? And last council meeting, council felt, not me, but council felt that it might be in the city's best interest to buy it. I don't think it's in the city's best interest to buy it right now, especially if we're using general fund tax dollars, because we're talking about something specific for, certain groups instead of the whole city. Not all 125,000 people are going to utilize the golf course. So if there was a way where we can get funding like tourist development dollars, or get some grant funding, then that's something I think we can get behind. And that's something I think we can push towards, and something I can better support. But being that we have more pressing matters like decreasing our response times, addressing the infrastructure that's not going to be addressed through the road bond, I think that's something that we can put on the back burner and address, the protection of our community as well as our infrastructure.
Okay. Thank you for that answer, sir. Here's another question. Do you support a homeless shelter in the city of Palm Bay, and how would you fund it?
So great question. So a few months ago, over a year ago, we received $18 million of ARPA funding, American Rescue Plan Act funding, from the federal government. And a certain amount had to be allocated towards certain things, affordable housing, revenue loss, things of that nature. So we set aside funds for, body cameras for our police officers to provide more transparency. We set aside $5 million for affordable housing as well as cybersecurity. And with that $5 million, we were able to address, transitional housing, as well as organizations like The Source that are looking to lock down a location where not only can they serve those that are dealing with drug abuse or mental abuse, but also teach them culinary arts, because you want to make sure you don't just give somebody a house, you know, teach a man to fish. So they're teaching them culinary skills, because we see a lot of our restaurants are low staffed when it comes to waiters, waitresses, and chefs. So they're teaching them culinary skills and also trying to help them with providing transportation. So this is how you really help, you know, our homeless community. And you're not going to save everyone. I understand that, but I've seen what the Source has accomplished in Vero Beach, and they're looking to replicate the same thing here in the city of Palm Bay, especially with the executive director, Tony Zorbaugh, living here. So this is his community just as much as it is ours, and he's looking to address it accordingly.
Okay, sir. Sorry about that. Let's see. Again, I'm going to answer. I'm going to, you know, sometimes it's not good but I need to make this very clear. The moderator didn't get my questions until when? This morning, I think. You're muted. You're muted.
Funny fact about that is you sent it this morning, and I messaged you saying, hey, when are you going to send me the questions? Because I didn't realize you had sent them this morning. And I believe that was and hold on, because we can timestamp that if I'm not mistaken. Let's see here. That was at 9:30 when I said no, and then I went back and looked and said, oh, I apologize. I just didn't scroll up far enough. So I received the questions at 9:30 this morning. Also, in full transparency, Kevin, I did see the deputy mayor today. I did attend the job fair. I went there to show support. I sit on the board for the Greater Palm Bay Chamber of Commerce. I had my Greater Palm Bay Chamber of Commerce tag on. And I believe the entire time that the deputy mayor and I spoke, we were with someone. I know for the most part, it was the police chief. It was in front of the many people who were in there. And so I also spent a little bit of time in speaking with our mayor, our Mayor Rob Medina. So I will speak with any and everybody who is up on the dais, who's there supporting, because I genuinely believe that we need to find more creative ways, not just to get people employed in Palm Bay, but to stay employed in Palm Bay. So that's how I showed support. So I am not sure of where I did see that comment that popped up, and
really that I mean that threw me for a loop. So be known, my moderators do not get the questions until the day off to avoid things like this. Because it takes me a lot of hours to sit there and write these questions, and things like this go behind the scenes. I'll be the first one to be throwing a fit. I tell my moderators when they come on my platform, this is how I run my operation. Like it or leave it, this is what I do. And so, folks, please don't be starting these rumors. Don't be starting these rumors, because that's not fair to me. That's not fair to my family. That's not fair to the service that I try to do for the community. Don't start these rumors, because that will get me sick. That will really get me sick. Okay, thank you. Let's keep going.
Kevin.
Yes, sir.
As there, my portion of this, as far as a moderator, has ended, because I have no longer any questions to moderate, because we didn't have candidates as it is. So I am going to jump off. I'm going to go put my little girl to sleep.
Yeah, we have like 10 more minutes.
Can you do me a favor, sir, though? Please do not stop doing what you're doing. Well, the one thing that I do love in the comments that is coming from individuals who have identified themselves as Democrats and individuals who have identified themselves as Republicans, they're telling you to keep doing what you're doing. And so I'm with them. I don't care what side they're on. Please keep doing what you're doing. Do not stop this. You are informing the public, and that is extraordinarily important. And thank you, sir, for everything that you do.
Thank you for jumping on tonight and sticking it out with me.
Anytime you ask me, I told you I'm here.
This is a wild ride tonight. This is a wild ride, and the accusations and the things that are being tossed around. Yeah. I don't drink, but I might need to drink something before I go to bed tonight. All right.
All right.
All right.
So-
Talk to you soon, David.
All right. Hey, again, have a good night.
Yeah, man. All right, Kenny, let's toss up two more and then we call it a night here. Let's see. Let's see. I see your question, Randy, but you already posed one, Randy. Let me see if I can find somebody else. This one has to do with our homeless community is growing. Will only continue because of the price of rent. Most are in hotels or their cars with children. Unfortunately, Palm Bay refused daily bread move. More help is needed. So that's more like a comment. Would you like to opine on that?
Yeah, so I'll be brief. So I don't think daily bread was the right choice for Palm Bay. Yeah, that wasn't the right choice for Palm Bay. But to that point, the price of rents are increasing. It's all about supply and demand. There's only so much supply of apartments, housing, things of that nature. So a lot of the people who are leasing the property are able to up the price from what was typically $1,500 to $2,000, sometimes $2,200 rents. So what we want to make sure is we provide diverse housing, whether it's townhomes, condos, apartments, houses, but we want to make sure they're in appropriate areas. That's one thing that I'm confident with the update of the comprehensive plan. We'll make sure we map out these areas for proper location of such housing.
Okay. All right, Randy, let's toss your question up. Could there be a plan to fill all the empty strip mall locations instead of building new locations for the businesses moving here? Just noticing so many business buildings being built while so many sit empty. Good point.
No, that's a great point. And our staff, as well as myself, I personally email businesses that I see in Orlando or anywhere else that comes to mind, just to see if they're interested. And staff does the same thing. We have several vacant spots in the Palm Bay and Babcock corridor. And just recently, we have Straight Out of Philly that came into place, as well as on the side of it, it's Bubba something, but it's kind of like a Chipotle type restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
But these are areas that were empty gaps for years that we're slowly starting to fill out. So it's a matter of reaching out to the businesses, reaching out to see if we fit what their mold is. Because at the same time, these businesses want to make sure, hey, if I move here, I'm going to generate revenue. I'm going to generate profit so that way we can thrive here as well. Nobody wants to, open up a bakery and, bake 100 cakes when there aren't going to be those that are going to support and purchase those cakes. So, so it's about reaching out to the businesses, which I've been doing. I've emailed Topgolf myself. I've reached out to Dave & Buster's. Unfortunately for Dave & Buster's, we don't meet the population that they're looking for. But you never can stop trying.
Thanks for advocating on our behalf, sir. We do.
Yes, there it is. Bubba Coos Burritos. Thank you, Randy. Yes.
Yeah.
Bubba Coos Burritos.
All right. The PAL program is so important. Can we speak on the plans to reinstate it?
Yes, we can. I've spoken with Chief Agello, and I'll be meeting with them actually relatively soon to speak on that, as well as innovative ways to recruit our young men and women straight out of high school to go into the police academy and join those that are already there. We want to make sure that we have a diverse police force as well. I think it's important to try to attract those that are already here. You find, and statistics have shown, that those that live within the community that they're serving take more pride in the community that they're serving. So we want to make sure we're going into Bayside High School, Heritage High School, Palm Bay High School. And with Palm Bay, we have the, Pirates to Police program. In Bayside, we started it, but COVID happened, but we started Bears to Badges. So these are things we need to pick back up on as we're getting adequate staffing, so that way we can make sure we have more support and, career-long officers.
Okay. All right, folks. I think I'm going to call it a night. Unfortunately, we're going to have to end it here.
If they have time, I have time to answer more questions.
Oh, you want to add? Okay, all right. Let's
Yeah.
see. Is there any more questions from Deputy Mayor Johnson?
They can
Let's
keep
see.
them coming. I appreciate everybody, whether for, against, or undecided, for tuning in. So
Here's a let's see. This is a comment or question. The source would be on Palm Bay Road. It would be a full shelter, except I was told they will be sleeping on a bus. Where would the bus be parked?
Okay, so the source, what they're trying to do on Palm Bay Road is not looking to be a shelter. It's looking to be a one-stop shop in regards to getting the services you need, whether it's, drug abuse or mental abuse or culinary skills. What they do have already is the Dignity Bus, which houses 20 individuals that need a place to sleep instead of sleeping outside or sleeping in somebody's backyard like we've seen in Palm Bay. So that bus goes in certain areas and picks up these individuals and keeps them in a disclosed location to keep everybody safe. So it's same organization, but two different programs.
This is a comment that says there needs to be more jobs outside of just engineering. Not everyone in Palm Bay has a degree in engineering.
And I agree. While we have a lot from L3 Harris, Northrop, Raytheon, a lot of these companies. We do want to make sure we provide more opportunities. That's why, like with the rezoning, I've mentioned to staff and many others that I see the compound being an area of light industrial or heavy industrial. That could be our Silicon Valley for Brevard County. So that, and that's different types of jobs. That's doesn't entitle just engineering. Those are different lines of work.
Okay. I think we addressed the golf course before, but would the golf course ever be open in Palm Bay again?
I hope so.
I saw something on Facebook today, and I don't know if these people have their some of these residents have their facts right. So I wanted to clarify this for me. And I saw in a comment thread, folks were saying that the city put together a committee to study whether or not it's appropriate to buy the golf course. Did you hear that?
Okay, so what happened last council meeting? Mayor Medina was asking for consensus from council on whether or not they wanted staff to look into purchasing the golf course. So a majority ruled that they wanted to look into consider it. I said, hey, this isn't the time for it, but majority ruled that they were looking to consider purchasing the golf course. So that's what transpired last council meeting on Thursday night.
So is a committee coming out of that or no?
No, it's not a committee. It's staff working on it.
So is there staff that's going to be looking at what it would take or etc.?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Let's see. Randy, I saw a traffic question from you, and it's a good question because that is, especially in Bayside Lakes, a lot of the high school kids, when they get out of school, there's always something happening along this corridor. Do you think there is anything that can be done to address all the traffic fatalities that have been happening lately, though not all in Palm Bay, but many have been in Palm Bay?
So there's a few things that we can do. One, education. Two, up the penalties of what's going on. But to one point, a member of the community spoke at last Thursday. Kevin Bolas, he spoke about how even when a lot of these people are getting traffic citations, they're not getting any points on their license. And when they don't get any points on their license, it's not really affecting them to the point where, hey, maybe I need to slow down. Because if you get points on your license, that can also affect you losing your license. If you lose your license, you have lack of transportation. If you have a lack of transportation, you can have lack of a job. So therefore, we need to look at innovative ways, whether we need to, reach out to our judges and tell them like, hey, we need your assistance, or just talk with our police officers on how we can better educate and enforce protecting our community. Because we just had two young ladies in the Melbourne location, but they're from Palm Bay, that were slain due to negligence because of a gentleman, animal went off road and mowed them down on the sidewalk, which is unacceptable and it's sick. It could have been easily prevented.
Yeah, it definitely could. Yeah. I mean, and we are getting, and I know you answered majority of these questions already. We're getting, our community is growing at a steady pace, right? And so with that comes more traffic. So I guess it's just going to be a lot of education, right? From the
and to elaborate on that a little bit more, the widening of Malabar Road and the widening of Babcock. So widening of Malabar Road is going to be quicker. We secured funding from the Space Coast TPO, that's the Transportation Planning Organization, as well as we've utilized TIF dollars, traffic impact fees. And to that point, we've written letters as well as Commissioner Zonka, as well as Congressman Bill Posey for the federal level to allocate some funds. So that way we have all the funds we need to widen Malabar Road from Minton all the way to Heritage High School.
Okay. All right. So do you know how many years it's going to take for this plan, for that to start? Because I know sometimes you have to do studies and that kind of thing, right?
Well, we're looking at the end of next year. So we're looking at this time next year of hopefully starting.
Oh, okay.
And when we're talking about the St. John's Heritage Parkway itself, that's going to be in phases, because that's going to be lengthy as well. Just like the current St. John's Heritage Parkway, that conversation started while I was in high school. Like we're talking about over 15 years. So it's going to be timely, but the quickest project that we're looking at is the widening of Malabar Road.
Okay. Let's see. Let's talk about the Indian River Lagoon, because this keep popping up in the thread. What are the plans for the lagoon? I don't know if you can speak much on that, because usually that's coming from the commission, right?
No. It's everyone. It's Palm.
It's everyone. Okay.
It's Melbourne Beach. It's everyone. So one thing that I was able to implement with the support of council and staff, working with the Marine Resource Council, they had a conference this past month and last year on applying low impact development to cities. And we, Palm Bay, are the first city in Brevard County to implement that. And what that does is it decreases the runoff into Turkey Creek, which then goes on to the Indian River Lagoon. Aside from that, another unpopular conversation is septic to sewer. I remember back in 2019, we were looking at doing septic to sewer conversion, mandatory septic to sewer conversion for the citywide, but talking with residents in the Turkey Creek area and talking to different areas, I think a better approach would be to focus on Turkey Creek area, because we have the SOIRL, Save Our Indian River Lagoon funds dedicated towards septic to sewer conversion.
Right.
So we can focus on that area because that's the highest priority area and the highest affected area of getting them converted, because the dollars are already there.
Right.
So that's I brought that up last council meeting or the council meeting before, for us to look towards moving in that direction, because many people in the Turkey Creek area have reached out like, hey, my septic is running out of life. It's running out of its lifespan. Before trying to get a new septic, can we move forward with connecting us to sewer?
And folks, this is a good time for me to say this. I think everyone needs to stay informed by watching the city meetings and the county commission meetings. When I go online and I view these meetings, I'm not seeing a lot of folks watching them. So I'm going to encourage you to make sure you watch the county commission meetings and the city meetings as well. Did you froze, Kenny? Are you there?
No, I'm here.
Okay.
I'm here.
All right. Let's see. Let's take one more. It's 9 o'clock. I'm going to take the one that's appearing at the bottom here.
Yeah, do that one. That's a good one.
This one, right?
Yes.
Okay. I have a question for Kenny Johnson. I have a lot of city employees that are sometimes afraid and not feeling safe at work with all these active shooters. Will you vote for city employees to carry conceal if they have the proper license and training? Brevard County employees are allowed to carry concealed weapons if they have the proper license and training.
That's something I'm willing to talk to council and see if they'll support with me. That's been in place for Brevard County, and it was very controversial. I think it happened in 2016 by Commissioner Tabaya, and many were afraid that there was going to be like the Wild Wild West. But to that point, I know specifically within our code compliance department that many of them go on site to certain properties and are threatened. to the point where they need to have a law enforcement officer on site with them. But unfortunately, unfortunately, there won't always be a law enforcement officer on site with them. So what do you do then? You know, typically as regular citizens, when we're not on the clock as a government worker, we're allowed to carry our concealed carry. You know, same with me in my household. While I'm going to call 911, if someone busts in my house, you know, it's easier to pick up the firearm first before you pick up the phone to protect yourself and protect your loved ones. So I understand that, and that's something I'm willing to entertain and speak to council and see if they're willing to move in that direction.
Okay. All right, folks. It's been fun tonight. Well, I can't say it's been fun, but it's been a delight to host this program tonight. And thanks to our David, our moderator, who had to jump out early, for coming on and being a trooper and sticking it out with us. And comes what may, I will have some reflection to do. I will have some reflection to do individually and collectively. I need to reflect on what took place tonight. I really do, because I don't think it's fair to me. I don't think it's fair to my family that I took time away from to make this thing happen, to put together this program tonight and the last two nights that I had to interview folks. And I see the comments. People are trying to say, go, 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 don't stop. And yeah, I will definitely consider that as well. And I will talk to some folks around me. I do have counsels, folks that, that talk to me from time and give me pep talks and that kind of thing. So I will talk to folks and get some ideas and ways and to go forward. But what took place tonight was not nice. It was not good. So I'm gonna just leave it like that. Please, one way you can keep promoting this, please go to facebook.com/Palm Bay Live and hit the like button or hit the follow button, whichever one, or go to youtube.com/Palm Bay Live and hit the like button, hit the follow button as well there as well. That way we can, I can see you and we can still talk together, etc. This is the last show for the political season. I did invite some other folks for tomorrow night, but I did not get an accept. And I think I know why now. Let's just leave it like that. It is what it is. We're here, and it has been fun for the last 2 years, and doing this, and we'll hopefully continue, right? So thank you again, Kenny, for coming on. Wish you best of luck in your campaign. Oh, I did not do this, and if Nathan was here, I would do the same thing for him. Please use the last two. I give you 2 minutes, sir. Tell the constituents why they should vote for you. And
Thank you.
Remove myself from the platform, and you can do that.
All right. So first off, thank you everyone for tuning in for this debate/forum. The reason what I'm asking for 4 more years. Over the past 4 years, we've been able to focus and accomplish a lot. There's still much to accomplish, such as the roads, the infrastructure, better supporting our law enforcement officers, as well as widening the roads, sustainability, creating affordable housing and diverse housing. So I'm asking for your support and your vote in reelecting me to accomplish a lot of this. Aside from that, I see a lot of the comments. We didn't get to all of them. I'm accessible. And anybody who's reached out to me knows that I will pick up the phone and call you back or email you back or meet with you or meet with the group, whoever. Even when it is uncomfortable, I've taken the time to meet because I'm about, listening to problems and trying to create solutions. So Mr. Wickens, you personally, I know you made your comment. I'm gonna call you tomorrow. Anybody else who wants to get a hold of me, you can reach out 321-474-0183 or email me at kenny.johnson@palmbayflorida.org. Yes, I'm in campaign mode, but I'm still serving as your deputy mayor. So if there's something of an issue or concern that you have, let's work together and find a solution, because that's what we're going to do for the next 4 years in taking action and getting results. So thank you again, and God bless.
All right. Thank you, Kenny. And thank you, audience, for sticking it out with us tonight. And again, please like and share this video to your neighbors, your friends, your colleagues, whoever live in Palm Bay that can vote. And you have the comments. Now, to be fair, I did interview Mr. Nathan White on Monday night. You can go back. I did replay that video today. You can go back and watch that video and make your decision based on the videos that are out there on where you should go. So I'm not telling you how to vote because I never do. That's something that I do not advocate for. I'm not telling you how to vote. And individuals that know me knows how I vote. I vote either party, and because I vote on the issues. Although Palm Bay is, we don't go party lines, but that's where we at. All right. Thank you again, audience. Have a good night and have a good week, rest of the week. Vote early and be safe, and see you in the comments. Have a good night.
Thank you again, Kevin.
Bye-bye.
Keep your head up, man. It's all right.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.